Good afternoon, everyone. And here we are again discussing Church Militant and all of the latest news with Church Militant. Unfortunately, it's not getting better. And I just want to say this, I will take all your comments and answer as many questions as I can at the end. But I've got a lot to go through just to keep you updated on what's happening. I had a guest lined up and then she actually canceled. And I understand why that she would want to cancel. Um, so I also have other guests that's in the works to be lined up and interviewed. So I'm hoping I will have that done this week. So I am working a lot of things behind the scenes. And I also want to point out, I've seen most of the comments. It's been overwhelming trying to keep up with the comments, but I really appreciate all of you all's thoughts and that the fact that you're supporting my channel and that you are leaving your thoughts in the comments. It's really important to me, and I do appreciate your support. So let's get into it. And I'm going to talk a little bit, stay till the end, because I'm going to talk a little bit about the delusion of some people. And it would probably not surprise you to learn that I've gotten threatening text messages. I don't know how the people got my phone number, but they did, and has threatened me as well. So there's a lot of ugly, ugly, ugly stuff going on behind the scenes. So the first thing I want to bring to you is the Church Militant letter that went out. So two things happened today. And I had it pulled up and then I put my phone up. I want to read it to you, okay? I can't display it because it was sent to me in an email, but bear with me. I'm not going to read the whole thing. And this was sent out to everyone on Church Militant's newsletter. Perhaps you got it, maybe you didn't. This was forwarded to me by several people that follow me because they know I completely unengaged with anything with Church Militant. I'm no longer a premium subscriber, and that happened shortly after I left Church Militant. And I no longer donate to Church Militant, and I no longer am on their newsletters. So I get nothing from Church Militant. So they addressed this, went out yesterday at 5:30 p.m. Here are some additional details about which many of you have been inquiring. The officers of the St. Michael's Media Board are, so these are the new board members, President Michael Sherry, Treasurer Philip Hapala, I can never pronounce his last name, and Secretary Mary McCann. Now, let me go through this again. Michael Sherry, who's the president of the board now, is the IT manager at Church Militant. Philip is the payroll manager at Church Militant. And Mary McCann is the receptionist. These are all three people who are in Voris's support. And they want Voris to come back. He should not ever come back. Let's just make that clear. So they go on to say the board is working to bring new non-employee members onto the board. We have hired an outside source to conduct a nationwide search for a new executive director. And in the coming weeks, we will be excited to announce the new department heads and our newly restructured organization. Church Militant will continue to produce the same content as before, but with a renewed focus on the interaction of Catholicism with secular society. In other words, they'll still be bashing bishops and priests. We will seek to emphasize the love and forgiveness of Christ in our presentations, and we will be reaching out to like-minded people of goodwill to partner with us. We will continue to address theological, cultural, political, and social issues relevant to Christians from an Orthodox Catholic perspective. Then they go on into various programs that are in the planning stages. And then they say, we will also be continuing our special events, including our retreats at sea, the Deposit of Faith Coalition press conferences, and our Strength and Honor Men's Conference in 2024. Retreat at the sea. Seriously? You know who pays for that? All the donors pay for that retreat. It doesn't come out of Church Militant's pocket. It doesn't come out of the employee's pocket. They jack the prices up of the price to go on the cruise, and you pay for it and the donors pay for it. That should absolutely be eliminated. That until they can get a control on the finances at Church Militant. That was just a jaw dropper for me when I saw that. The board realizes it needs to become more aggressive and focused to move forward and provide the Catholic content the apostolate's donors and supporters deserve and demand. The board is dedicated to initiating best practices and building appropriate governance structures to allow it to accomplish this. Just spin, folks, total spin. First of all, they need to drop the fact that they feel they're an apostolate. They are not an apostolate. All right. They're a nonprofit organization, media company. That's what they are, Catholic media company. And then the rest of it is just BS, just, more spin. So I read that first because I want you to realize that not once has Church Militant or St. Michael's Media denounced michaelvoris's actions. They have never publicly denounced michaelvoris's behaviors and actions. Why is that? Why is that? Well, sources have told me that Michael is still behind the scene pulling the strings. They need to completely divorce themselves of michaelvoris. These current board members, they all need to be fired and replaced with Catholic business people who know how to run a business. Now, I understand they have to have an interim board, but that's not really what he said in that, Mike Sherry said in that news announcement, did he? So I'm very, very skeptical about this change until they come out. I mean, they said that michaelvoris violated a morality clause only after David Gordon and the employees within the organization pushed that they tell the truth. They were going to say that Michael was leaving for health reasons. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the very same thing that Church Militant, michaelvoris, criticized the bishops for doing when a priest was found out that they had a homosexual lifestyle and or sexually abusing children. They would move them away to some rehab home for a year and then bring them back. This is the intention of the board. Absolutely. They're treating the board is the bishop. michaelvoris is the priest. They're doing the very same thing. That's why it's also freaking hypocritical. Okay. As a result, Christine Niles has now issued a statement where she is totally moving away from her support of Church Militant. And I want to read you that letter. I'm going to display it. It might be hard for you to see. She posted this today. Dear Church Militant Board of Directors, I am formally withdrawing my freelance proposal to produce Forward Boldly for Church Militant. I am deeply dismayed by the events of December 1st, the termination and mass walkout of staff. It appears certain members of the board are choosing personal loyalty to Michael over their fiduciary duty to act in the best interests of the apostolate. I am disturbed to learn that board members wanted to lie to the public that he was resigning for reasons of health. How many times has Michael blasted bishops for using the same lie when removing faithless clergy, like I just said? And some even insist that he eventually come back at the helm of Church Militant. Worse, you retaliated against staff who opposed you by terminating them. I believe in forgiveness. I do not believe in enabling bad behavior. You are enabling. The depth of Michael's betrayal is breathtaking. I don't think you understand how he has used and manipulated you for his own selfish ends. It takes a special kind of moral turpitude to deceive friends and colleagues for months on end, if not longer, all the while playing the moral crusader and taking Catholics' hard-earned cash. He ramped up the fundraising over the past year using pious spiritual language to convince Catholics to donate, which they did in good faith, believing he was faithful. And he used their money to lead a double life. Utterly wicked. There's an argument to be made that he raised money under false pretenses and defrauded donors, which could be criminal. I sincerely pray for the sake of the innocent staff left behind that you will start acting in the best interest of the apostolate, which is your fiduciary duty by law, rather than on blind, misguided loyalty to a CEO who has deceived, betrayed, and used you for a long time. Forgiveness, yes. Trust, no. Forward Boldly has my podcast and radio network. Let me start over. Forward Boldly was my podcast and radio network for 2 years before I came to Church Militant. When I resurrected it in January 2023, I shot it in my home studio using my props and much of my equipment. I have never signed over rights to anyone. While Church Militant owns copyright over episodes aired on its channel, it has no ownership over the title, my studio, my equipment, or my show. I will determine what to do with my show moving forward. Sincerely, Christine Niles. Okay, everyone. That's a bold letter right there from Christine Niles, completely distancing herself from Church Militant, and for good reasons. Oh my gosh. So if you saw David Gordon's video, and who is David Gordon, in case you all don't know, David Gordon was an employee of Church Militant who did Mic'd Up. And he, along with 5 others, were fired on Friday for speaking up to the board. They got rid of them. And that's typical of Church Militant. And 5 others walked out. Now, I misspoke last week. On Friday, I thought that there was a total of 15. I thought 10 people walked out, 5 were fired, but it was a total of 10. 5 fired and 5 walked out. And David Gordon really gets into the receipts on his broadcast. So I encourage you, if you haven't watched it, to go watch it, because he lays out all of the evidence of why they were trying to cover up for Michael, and why that he pushed so hard to try to change within Church Militant the culture and the environment. Yes, Michael was grooming young men. I saw it with my own eyes. Christine Crisply tried to report it to Simon Rafe. She saw the same thing. Christine Niles, when she saw the text message that was uploaded into the company Dropbox, she also went to Simon. Guys, nothing was done. I mean, the text message that was uploaded into the company Dropbox is pretty, I mean, you can't read it on air because it's pretty pornographic. And why Michael thought that would be a good idea to upload that picture into the company Dropbox. For those of you that don't know what a company Dropbox is, it's a digital application that all employees can upload graphics, videos that everybody in the company can access. So you cannot email large graphic files back and forth each other. They have to be put on a platform so that everyone can have access to those things. On that company platform, here is one of the photos I can show you that was found of Michael Voris. That was in the company Dropbox for everyone to see. This is a milder photo of Michael Voris. This was leaked out of Church Militant. The other photos are erotic poses of Michael with only short gym trunks on. So people were asking me to be descriptive. Well, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. And imagine a photo and he in similar poses, more erotic poses, where you can actually see the outline of his private parts that were not relaxed. I can't put those on the screen. How can you continue to support and how can Church Militant not denounce this? They have never made a public statement at all, other than the one, and now they're doing their best, to change the culture within. All right. I'm exhausted by all of this, to be honest with you. It's, and the comments in the comment box, people that did not forgive the priests and the bishops are giving Michael a pass. Think about that. That's called denial. And as Christine said in her letter, yes, we need to forgive. But trust? Absolutely not. Forgiveness does not mean that you trust that person again. It does not mean that you're willing to let that person back into your life again. Your forgiveness is for your own well-being, so that they don't live rent-free in your head. Yes, Jesus calls us to forgive, and we must do that. But Jesus knows the forgiveness is for our welfare, not for the welfare of the other person. You can forgive an abuser, but you have to set boundaries that they will never abuse you again. There was abusive behavior inside of Church Militant. I saw it. I heard it. I witnessed the temper tantrums. I witnessed the screaming sessions. That's abuse, folks. And adults that are in control would not be showing that type of behavior. Those are all patterns of narcissism. So yes, we need to forgive, but I'm not trusting Church Militant again. Not unless all of these players are removed and fired, and they have a whole new, credible board of directors, a whole new, credible leadership team. My son's calling me. Okay, let me get to your questions. I'm sorry, there's quite a few. Pat says premium subscription being canceled by the thousands, I imagine. I imagine too, which is why they're trying to breathe life with this hopeful message that they're sending out. But what they really need to do is denounce Michael. Okay, Wolfman Jack says, I canceled mine last week when I realized all we'll get from them is a silent treatment and business as usual attitude. You're exactly right. Let's see. Wolfman also says Christine Niles is dropping her collaboration with Forward Boldly and advising people to stop donating until an audit is done. That's correct. Keep that in mind, folks. There's never been an audit done. Never been a forensic audit done. No, financials were never shared with any of us. And yes, for those of you that says, well, what's your business? Generally, companies will always share their financial year-end numbers with staff. I was in the corporate world for 40 years, and it was like clockwork that they would share their financial statements. Pat says, was that organization considered an apostolate? Well, Michael did. Michael called it an apostolate all the time, and so did everybody within it. They need to quit using that word. They're not an apostolate. Okay. So he says DG Skunky X. DG took down his video hours after he posted it, and he posted it late. Yes, that's correct. But then he reposted it. So what happened with David Gordon's video is at 2:00 in the morning, Saturday morning, he posted it on his YouTube channel. I was in bed, so I didn't see it. And then about a few hours later, he had second thoughts and he changed the video to private. He did re-release the video about 4 or 5 in the afternoon on Saturday. Excuse me. So if you haven't seen it, you might want to go check it out because he really brings the receipts. And I'll post a link when we're done with the live stream. I'll post a link below in the description area for you. Let's see. Wolfman says Mike seemed to be virtually cruising in the Dropbox. So I have a very good friend that's gay. I actually have a couple that are gay, both of them men. And one of them told me that this is typical behavior. When I called to ask him about the Voris's behavior, and he said that, posting these selfies, half nude selfies, posting text messages, uploading them into the company Dropbox is typical gay behavior. Typical gay behavior, hoping that someone that sees those will take the bait and approach him. So he was looking for other young men in Church Militant. And as David Gordon reported, and others have reported, that when a particular young staffer went to Voris's house, Voris asked him to open up his laptop. And so the young staffer did, and the laptop had homosexual orgy pornography playing. And the young staffer was afraid to approach Voris, so he didn't say anything. This is typical of young men who have never been groomed like this to know what's actually happening. So imagine this young man is at Voris's house, probably felt, oh, now I'm in Voris's inner circle and I get to be at Voris's house. And believing that Voris is not actively homosexual, that he left all of that behind, then he shows up to his house and Michael does this to him. I mean, that's repulsive. I feel sorry for the kid. Vincent says, I think Niles was the actual person who presented the evidence regarding Voris' lifestyle to board. Photos were found on company drives. Yeah, I said all of that, Vincent. And Niles wasn't the only one that reported it. I'll just say that. She wasn't the only one that reported it. Scott says, clue me in about Voris. What did he do? I don't know when you posted that, but I'll just go down the list for everyone in case they missed it. He was posting pictures like this in the company Dropbox, pictures that were more erotic than this in the company Dropbox that I cannot show. I would not show those pictures. He was grooming young staffers within Church Militant. He invited a young staffer over, asked him to open up his laptop. There was homosexual pornography there. Let's see. There was more. I mean, there's just so much. I witnessed the grooming myself while I worked there. I'm just reading through the comments, ladies and gentlemen. So JM says, with today's technology, why in the world would anyone take chances by living such a double life? It's so easy to get caught now, especially when pictures are posted on a shared computer. Lordy. Oh, yeah, I totally agree. And then Ann Goddard says, denouncing Gary Michael Voris isn't enough. CM needs to drop the hate, misogynistic lies, gossip, and attacks of the LGBTQ community. There is no love in much of what Voris did. I actually commented on a post that Church Militant put up today regarding Father James Martin and the homophobia around that. And I simply said in my post that, this is not the time to be commenting on homophobia, given the scandals within Church Militant. This is bad optics. I mean, this is not the time for them to do that. M. Coleman says the statement by CM regarding Voris removal has had the comments turned off. That's typical with Church Militant. If they're putting up something controversial, they'll turn off the comments so nobody can comment on it. I wonder how long he's been living this double life. That's a very good question. Like I said, I saw the signs when I worked there, and I was there from September 2021 to September of, I'm sorry, April of 2022. So 5 months. Ann Goddard says there is no such thing as typical gay behavior anymore. There is typical heterosexual behavior. Please don't lie. That's untrue. That's absolutely untrue. My two close gay friends have told me, we've had long conversations about all of this. There are certain things that gay men do that heterosexual men would never do. So I'm sorry. I'm guessing you're gay, and I am not lying. I am stating what two very close gay men have told me. Okay. Let's see. I'm sorry, there's so many comments. David says, do you think Voris might play the homophobia card? No, he's going to try to convince, he's going to try to convince everyone that he's been healed. That's what would happen. And Mark says there's definitely is a gay culture and certain tendencies and behaviors. Yes, that is correct. All right, everyone. I think I've got most, there's a lot of comments. There's some things that I probably won't comment on. Uh, but here's what's coming down the road. So I am interviewing someone today that will possibly come on um, the live stream or a recorded video this week. There's another former employee that may be coming on this week. But keep this in mind, everyone. And this is what I'm personally doing. I'm not saying that you should do this either, but I've decided to pull all my donations from nonprofit organizations. Cancellation for, or Coalition for Cancellation. Let me do that over. Coalition for Canceled Priests has just exploded too. So I don't have time to go into that now. I may do a podcast down the road on that. But, I've decided I'm pulling all my support to nonprofits. And who will I be giving it to? Well, 10% to my church. And I will, spread it around to family members and friends that need the help. I've really thought about this. And, you know, we have people in our inner circle and acquaintances that need help, even if it's $10. If they need help, give them the $10. Give it to people you know. Give it to people that mean something to you. All of these nonprofits, and Christine Chrisleep said in our podcast, The Smoke of Satan Inside Church Militant, that they all are run very loosely. Very loosely. They all have issues, they all have problems. So is Church Militant, are they different? No. They're just all like all the other ones that have poor board of directors, no financial oversight, let the founder do whatever they want and spend whatever they want. You have no control over that as donors and as premium subscribers. Can you ask to be in those financial meetings as a donor? Yes, you can, but they're not holding financial meetings. So, I would just, that's what I'm doing. And if that resonates with you, do that as well. And I appreciate all your support. I appreciate you jumping on this live stream. Let me see. There's some new comments, so let me look. Make sure I've answered everybody's questions because I can't keep up with the comments. And I appreciate the comments. Just know that I just can't keep up answering them all. Yeah, I'd rather give money to family and friends and opposed to a church or organization such as CM. I'm with you on that totally. And Goddard says, you seem like a genuinely nice soul. Please focus on good people doing good things. There's a hungry for good news about God or anything else. I agree with you 100%, and Goddard. The only reason why I'm doing these podcasts about Church Militant is because I've watched some of the others that are out there that have never worked for Church Militant. They make all these assumptions. Oh, I have one other thing I need to tell you about. Shoot, I almost forgot. And that is there's a really nasty rumor going around. And I've had a dozen people email me about this. And that is someone is saying, I don't know who it is, that I said that Christine Niles came in drunk, stumbling drunk to Church Militant. That is absolutely false. I never said that. I would never say that because it's not true. I've had many dinners with Christine after work hours, and her and I would have one glass of wine, and that's it. Order more than one glass of wine. Sometimes she didn't even finish the wine. So I don't know who is spreading that rumor, but it's an absolute lie. I have never seen Christine Niles other than Homer says, I said Milo, not Christine. No, I didn't say Milo, did I? The rumor was about Christine Niles, that I said that she came into work stumbling drunk, and that is totally untrue. Absolutely false. I don't know who's spreading that lie, but it's awful that they would do that to Christine Niles, because it is not true. So I want to put that on the record so you all know. All right. I think I'm done here. And whoever, I think I'm done here. And look for more breaking news. Look for more live streams that will be happening this week. And if you haven't followed me on Twitter or X and on Facebook, I want to encourage you to do that as well, because I post things that are on there that are different than what's on YouTube. So I really appreciate you all. Boy, we've got a lot of people to pray for, don't we? It's crazy. So remember, eternal life is forever. Got a plan? Bye-bye.